Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, the pyro's updates out.
Oh my god, the pyro updates out.
Can't remember what this video's about. Let me just check. Oh wait, the... Hey guys, how's it going? Toofty here. I don't know where to start. There's too many words to say. I'm mildly excited. It's fine. The time of recording is Friday afternoon. I'm going to try my darndest to get this video out for Friday evening. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about all the drops we've had over the last 4 days. So it's a little bit bittersweet for me, you know, living in the UK. This is what I tweeted out. So you wake up, it's like Christmas Day, you've got all these brand new presents and you find them under the tree, you've got loads of presents and it's amazing, and then you find that someone's already played with them all and started tweeting all the excitement. I've missed out on all the memes, speculation. Oh, is that a new weapon? All done. But anyway, what I'm going to do is one very neat video. I'm going to talk about the things I'm most excited about, just pinpoint those cool things. I'm not going to read through the patch notes. There is nothing worse than someone just reading through patch notes. I mean, I get there are some things worse, like famine, AIDS, Nazis. They're a little bit worse, but it's a close fourth. Right, a quick overview. I'm 99% loving this update and it's beautiful. There is one thing I'm confused about. Maybe there's a couple of other things in there that I haven't discovered properly yet, but there's one thing that I'm confused about and I'll talk about that. And there's a couple of things that obviously I'm disappointed about. You know, it goes without saying, fixes to the matchmaking system, but I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. I'm all smiles. See? Anyway, let's jump in to the first page. Before we jump in, shall I just tell you what the best thing about this entire update is? Shall I just tell you? I'll tell you now, shall I? I'm going to tell you. The second banana. I know, I thought Heavy was meant to have lost this, but apparently not. He clearly came out on top. I'd argue that maybe that's the best thing in the whole update. I'm just saying. I'm joking. Okay, let's go through in order very quickly. Okay, we've got a lovely video. I won't watch that again with you. I'm sure you've seen that lots of times. Really excited about the new maps. Anything that's King of the Hill or Payload, I'm going to be super excited about because I love playing those modes. Attack, defend, up for that. It's difficult to tell. This bit reminds me of another map a lot. I can't remember what it's called, but difficult to tell until you try these things. Banana Bay, on the other hand, you just immediately get a good vibe. Okay, I'm just saying. Maybe it's the name. Maybe it's the beaches. Maybe it's the train. It's a payload race, which I don't play too often, to be fair. But I will certainly give this a good go. Be my Banana Bay, yeah? Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Enclosure, payload, awesome. I'm going to be playing this a lot. I'm sure they're all great, but until you've played them, you just don't know how awesome they're going to be. So I'm not going to spend too long on these. We got all the taunts. I'm probably going to be very poor soon. I'm not going to lie to you. So my favourite taunt on this page, for me, is the jumping jack. I love it. I want to be going around maps on a drill. I'm hoping it's kind of as long as you want it, like the conga. I'm hoping you can just turn it on and drill until your heart's content. And there we go. That's day 1. Day 2. So I'll just very briefly talk about this. This basically feels like some great improvements to the contract system, just being able to do them in your own time. The fact that you kind of have access to all of them in one go means I'm going to be coming back to the game a lot because I'm probably going to want to complete them as quickly as possible. So that's cool. This set is mental, you know, but sure, why not? This hat I can see, I imagine everyone's going to end up owning this. I don't know, maybe not. So the new painting system is very cool, and there's one thing in particular that I like, and it's the fact that you can inspect every single weapon now. We'll come to that on the last page actually. Spoiler alert. Yeah, cool. And then there's the parrot without the head, and jobs are good. So day 3, this is where it gets real juicy. Oh boy. Right, the Dragon's Fury. When I saw this I was like, awesome. Look at that thing coming out at the end. It's like a ball of joy. The first question I had was, is this going to be like a fireball projectile that travels through the map? Or is it going to be like a cone of fire that just bursts out? Day 4 kind of answered that for us. So I think it's like a projectile that fires from your weapon, goes forward but not very far. Very interesting. The thermal thruster, the star of the show, let's be honest. So yeah, I was excited about this, and then they started talking about it on day 4 and I got even more excited. And my first question was, is this going to be a one-tap ability or is it going to be like a press and hold hover thing? We've later found out that it is a one-tap ability, and not only that, but you are launched in the direction you are facing. So wherever you're pointing, you launch in that direction. For some reason, this makes the whole thing 20 times more awesome. Exactly 20, not 10, 20. For example, on Badwater, second point, you've got that big ledge up there. There's a couple of people pushing in. You're a pyro on the ground floor. Hassle going up those stairs, isn't it? Just pop the thermal thruster on. Up you go, land on someone's head, flame everyone, drop back down. jobs are good. And that's going to be fun. This is going to be a fun weapon, and that's, for me, the most important thing. Funosity. And the landing on people's head thing, it kind of reminds me a bit of Winston from Overwatch. I assume it's going to be not directly on the head, but kind of within a small radius around them, hopefully, so it makes it a little bit more easy to do. But like just even rolling out to the mid with the thermal thrusters is going to be awesome. The different routes you can take. There's just so many possibilities, I can't take it. Okay, so the gas passer. This is actually really exciting too, to be honest. These ones are like completely just different mechanics in a way. Well, I guess, there's rocket jumping, but it feels really new and interesting. The main question around this one is that they haven't answered is this a projectile like Girardi where you throw it and it creates a cloud? Or do you spray it out? I'm kind of guessing it's like a very short range projectile. Anyway, let's move on. The hot hand. Great for memes. Can't see it being that viable, but we'll see. And of course the beautiful flamethrower improvements. Thanks Valve. Again, it's difficult to tell as to what extent this is going to change the game. Is it just some subtle tweaks that improve it, or is it the flame actually looks completely different? And there's a bunch of other improvements with air blast. Mate, I'm so excited for the new air blast mechanics. Just imagine a soldier bombing in onto a pyro and you can just sort of flick him off off a cliff. No, I'm good, thanks. Off you go. That's going to be awesome. You've got these big shiny new weapons that everyone's focusing on, but there's an awful lot of things in this update that are very sneaky and I think will change the game quite significantly. The new air blast mechanics is one of them, as well as the new afterburn mechanics. My understanding for the afterburn is that basically it's had a bit of a buff. It doesn't last as long, but it does more damage. And the reason I think that's a buff, because if it lasts a long time and does a little bit of damage, it means you've got time to go and get health. If it lasts less time but does more damage, you're kind of moving it more towards the burst damage side of things. The second banana, we all know that's the best thing in the update, so that's a fact. The taunt, it's a cool taunt, it's fine, I like it. If you're a pyro main, you're going to probably love it. And it's going to be a little bit humiliating, I'm not going to lie, if you're killed by this taunt. So yeah, all good. So the fourth day, for a second I was like, oh, just some field notes. And then it was like, oh, Jesus actual Christ, that's a lot of notes. I'm not going to go through every bit, but again, I've got a few highlights I wanted to share with you guys. Another one that jumps out at me is the fact that you can now inspect any weapon. Awesome, love it. Everyone likes inspecting their weapons. That probably took a long time to do actually, like a lot of animations in there. So, good job. Added a disconnect sound when medic stops healing their target is interesting. I don't know how loud it is. I don't know who can hear it. If it's just you, if it's you and your medic, or if it's everyone around you. I think that's kind of interesting. Just a nice quality of life change. Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to chat about was parties. Very cool indeed. Again, another really good quality of life change. This feels like it's bringing the game into the 21st century, if you like. So matchmaking. Oh, don't worry, we've made it a lightweight overlay that can be summoned and dismissed anywhere within the game, which might be awesome, I don't know. It sounds like they're still working on these fixes. I think we all had our hopes up right, so it's a little bit of disappointment within all the joy. But we can't complain too much. So let's move on. Right then, so loads of awesome gameplay changes and balances. Most of it is the same as what it was before, but there's one or two things that they've tweaked based on feedback. The first one that comes to mind is the ambassador. I think they've done a good job here. I think this still achieves what they're trying to achieve. No sniper spies, but at the same time, still gives you that pinpoint accuracy at range. I'm actually going to skip some of these and go down to the scout because I'm really excited about some of these scout changes. I was wondering about bonk, right? So it feels like I like the change. It makes you do something whilst you're running through the front line of the enemy. But is the downside extreme enough? It applies a slow effect to the player, and this wears off based on the amount of damage you absorb as you are running through the enemies. And that's from 25% to 50%. That's not a huge range, right? It's like, I don't know, I'd rather it be from like 10% to 100% or something like that. So, so you really want to dodge every single bullet. I don't know, it just seems like a negligible amount, but I could be missing something here. So let me know in the comments below if I am. The atomizer, so last time I talked about this, I really liked the changes. I thought it made sense. I'm semi-dubious about this now. If there are maps with quite high up ledges that the scout can get to and get a really good advantage, I think this is going to be awesome. So you'd get there kind of before a battle, if you see what I mean. I guess it could be used for escaping enemies too, but it's not for like dodging during combat basically. So I'm interested to see if this just dies out completely or if there are, maps where you can take advantage of that. Man treads. If you watched my last video, I said I was excited about this because I want to see what awesome soldiers can do at a very high level with 200% air control. Maybe nothing, but maybe something awesome, we don't know. Okay, so here's the one, like, moment for me. It was the cow mangler. So if you watch any competitive TF2, you may have noticed that some soldiers have started using the cow mangler over the rocket launcher because there's almost no downside. So the fact that they gave it a little buff kind of blows my mind a little bit. Like, I'm just a bit confused. I mean, I don't know what the plan is here. I mean, I'm worried it's going to start becoming better than the rocket launcher and therefore everyone will start using it, and that's my worry basically. So that was a weird question mark for me. Again, let me know in the comments if you kind of have a different opinion on that one. But anyway, let's jump down to sniper. Just a couple of comments here. So I can understand why the Darwin's danger shield, that's going to enrage some people. Basically, it's become a anti-pyro weapon, but I think kind of the bigger goal here was valid, and you know, balancing these shields. You have to bear in mind that a lot of these decisions are based on competitive play as well. So I want the shields to be more balanced. Basically, you know, there's some you see all the time, there's some you don't. So I'm hoping this will start to achieve that. Medic, I'll be honest, I think this top one is just a gimmick. You're not really meant to get into melee range as a medic, so it's a bit weird, a bit of fun, right? It could be fun. So the Crusader's crossbow is, you know, good fix. Stops you trying to build Uber with it. All good. I said it last time, but I'll say it again. The gloves of running urgently. They should clearly have made it so that your health gradually goes down and your speed gradually goes up until you're a 1 health super speedy scout heavy. It would have been hilarious and awesome. Rescue Ranger. This double the amount of metal applied per wrench hit during the setup period. So it's slower at getting you set up, which I find a bit weird. Yeah, it doesn't affect you in the middle of the game. If you're getting set up in the middle of the game, it doesn't affect you. I would have been cool with just like reducing the amount of damage it does to the enemies, or it taking up more metal when you use it, stuff like that, you know. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. So the demo, I don't use a lot of demo night, as you know. I mean, I'm awesome at it, obviously. But I don't use it much, so my understanding is this is a really cool buff, I think, to this weapon. So interesting. Super excited about trying out the Dragon's Fury. I can't wait to go into a pub and just see pyros flying everywhere. It's going to be awesome. But I'm really excited. Again, the core flamethrower tweaks, the air blast tweaks, the afterburn tweaks, all these things, and how they're going to work together, you know, in conjunction with each other as well. Really interesting. And there we have it. We're at the very end. 4 days of absolute joy. Obviously, we're all aware that there aren't any fixes to matchmaking really, so that's disappointing. The other thing I was kind of disappointed about was that we didn't see any other just general fixes to the core gameplay of casual mode. And what I mean by that is not when you're in the game, but setting up a game, creating a game. I want to be able to create a game quicker, and I want gaps within the game to be filled up quicker. Maybe they've snuck some things in there and they haven't mentioned it, you know, we'll soon find out. But anyway, they absolutely smashed this. It's a beautiful update, so much to play around with. The servers are going to be chaos, it's going to be beautiful. I need to buy myself a taunt right away. So my next steps are, I want to release this tonight, so at least you've got my first impressions of the update, and then, at the very least, I'll try and share some contracts with you guys. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the pyro updates, and I'll see you guys very shortly. Happy pyroing.